now we have started the database and we have started the application. Let me check application, how well it is. This application is starting up. This one. Okay, so for your information, yesterday we installed an additional application server. We created a new VM of 8 GB memory, and then we installed an additional application server on the system. And then when we logged into our SAP system, we could see the additional application server. Then we also created a logon group to for load balancing between your different application servers. Okay, so today we are going to do some troubleshooting. That is the reason I shut down the application server, additional application server. I'm going to change the size of this additional application server. So right now the size of this VM is
yesterday we have changed it, correct?
Yes, come again.
I said yesterday we have changed it, correct?
Yesterday
we have changed the size of.
Yes, I know. Yes, actually now we are going to do the troubleshooting. Nah? That is why I'm again changing it.
Okay.
Okay, so here it is. What is the size of this VM? It is DS. It is DS2V3. That is 2 CPUs and 8 GB memory. Now I'm going to change the size of this VM. We are going to make it 4 GB. Okay, so here I'm going to change it to B2S, two processors, 4 GB memory. I'm going to resize. I'm resizing this VM now. Okay, let us check what is the status of our system. Okay, everything started. Let me log in into our system from. Okay, this is the group that we had created for connecting to your logon group. So if I click on it, this will do? It will connect to your message server. This group will connect to a message server. It will get a list of the servers which are active, the application servers which are active, and whichever servers has a lesser load, it will the message server will log you into that application server. Okay, so right now we only have application 1 because the application additional application 2 is down. If you see the right hand side over here, can you see the bottom right hand side? I may mark it over here. So here you can see that our system is S4H day 1. This is our primary application server. So I have stopped the secondary application server. Okay, now let me log in into my primary application server. Yes. Okay, here I'm logged into my application primary application server. If I run SM51, so here I will see the list of all my application servers. So currently I should see only one application server because only my primary application server is up and running. The secondary one is not up. So here I have changed the size for this server. Let me refresh. Here is the size for D2S V3. Refresh. Now the size has changed to B2S, 2 processors and 4 GB memory. Now I am starting up this VM. Okay, it started. Let me start the application now. So this is our server. Reconnect. It might take some time. Okay, it is connected now. I'm logging with my SID ADM user. Here I'm logged in with my SID ADM user. So here I'm checking the here it is. So here it is this one. So I'm checking and it is shut down, not up. Now I'm going to start the application. Start. Just start. No need for giving start system one. Okay, one more important point over here. When you are in additional application server, okay, you have a setup of like you have multiple application server. In that case, don't run the command stop SAP. Sorry, don't run stop system. If you run this command, it will stop all the application servers which are there under your instance under the SID. Okay, right now our SID is S4D. So if I run this command, it will stop all the instances which are running. If you want to check, let me show you. I'm running this command on the additional application server S4H dev2. I'm running this command over here. See, I've executed it. So this is already down. Let us monitor the process of our primary application server.
Like
Can you see the application server has gone down? SAP has gone down. Can you see? I can see the error window over here, SAP GUI. And now you can see
Hmm.
it has brought down your additional application server. Sorry, primary application server. Yes, someone was asking anything?
Yeah, Savina here.
Yes,
But it
Avina.
is not. It won't be like doing like this, right? Because it will have some effect on the tables or somewhere, like
Which
something
tables?
is there, right? Like not table, like in anything is anyone like using the some T code, all those things. It will
Mhm.
corrupt right on that time.
Yes, yes. You see, it crashed. Huh? As soon as you stop, I gave the stop command. I gave the
Hmm.
stop command on my additional application server. Here was the stop command. This one.
Hmm,
I
hmm, hmm.
gave the command on S4H Dev 2, but if you see the instance on S4H Dev 1, that also got stopped. See, everything has become grayed out.
Yeah, 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 correct.
So this is it. So when you are doing in a multiple application server environment, okay, production system, if you want to restart only that particular instance, that particular application server, additional application server, you should only give stop. Only use the stop. Don't use the system. Only you use this command. So what it will do, it will stop only this instance 02. Okay.
Okay.
Now
If
I
we
am giving
taken like
start.
system, then it will whatever
It
systems are,
will
then it will
yes, it will
start or
start
stop.
and stop the whole system.
Okay, okay.
Okay, here I'm giving start system. Okay, so in
Yeah.
this case, if I have like multiple application server, maybe one, two, three, up to four,
Hmm.
seven, four, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I
Hmm.
don't have to go on each of this server and give the start command. I can directly give from one system also. Start system. It will start the application server instances on all the application servers. Okay, see now I'm
Okay.
running start system, and with this command
Yeah, but
I'm
Musa.
yes,
Okay.
go on.
Yeah, but Musafir, like the instance are different, right?
The
Different, right?
instances are different, but they are connected to each other. They have a common kernel directory. So, and that is the reason
Okay.
they can execute these commands.
Okay,
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 see,
okay,
it
okay,
is
okay.
starting. It is starting on the additional applications also, or server also, and it is starting here also.
Yes,
Okay,
correct,
on the
correct.
primary application server also. So now I have started my application server, primary above all of them. Can you see my
And
this server has stopped?
yes.
Yes, you are asking something.
Yeah, we can use it in like a different database also, right? This command
See, this command is
for
for your
application.
application server. This is application
Yeah, yeah,
server
for
specific command.
application.
Your backend system can be anything. Okay,
Okay.
your database can be anything. It can be your, for example, Sybase. It can be MaxDB. It can be HANA. It can be Oracle. Nothing. The only thing
Hmm.
is that these binaries should exist on the system that you are executing.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay.
So now can you see our additional application server has crashed? I can see that the dispatcher has crashed now. Now, how are we going to troubleshoot it? Yes, anyone give me any hint, any idea?
First we need to check the like trace file, right?
Trace file, where okay, where is the location of the trace file?
Um, like cat space trace dot uh,
You can just give the path of that directory or the file. No need for cat command. Oh, yes, go on.
USR recipe. I know like that much. In afterwards, mm, there we can find out like in profiles we find it.
Mhm. Okay,
Profiles
now
means we can.
let me tell you how can you find that. So just pay special attention to that. It will come like very
Okay.
important, like, handy for
Mm,
you in the future. See now,
okay.
what is this at which this component you can say, or which service has failed? The dispatcher and
Discuss
the
one.
work process. This is a
Mm,
combination of your work processes.
correct.
This is the combination of your work processes. So now, since it is your see, you can also see the work mentioned over here. So since it is your work processes have failed, you have to go and you have to check your work directory. Okay, the work
Mm,
directory doesn't means your work, the work that you do. It is related to the work processes. So for any troubleshooting of your related to your dispatcher work process, ICM, okay, any kind of this, you have to go and you have to check inside your work directory. Now, where can you find your work directory? Okay, just give
mm.
me another idea over here. Now, how what directories do you have in your application server? Yes, please.
USR is there and SAP payment is there
Okay. Any else directory?
and slash USR SAP trans also is there.
Okay. Now let me. You have to understand the architecture very clearly. Once you understand the architecture, it's very simple for you to troubleshoot any like doing anything. So let me create something here itself. Okay. So now what is happened? There are two directories over here. Okay. So one that you mentioned is your SAP MNT. The second one is your not USR. Actually, it is USR, but it is partial. The actual directory is USR SAP.
Okay.
Sorry. So these are the only two directories which exist on your application server, nothing else. These are the
Hmm.
only two important directories for your application server. What exactly are they? See, this is as the name suggests you, this is the SAP mount directory. Okay, this is an SAP mount. It's an SAP mount directory. Now, what is an SAP mount directory? It means it's a common directory. It's a common or it's a shared directory. Okay, if you have a single application server standalone, then this is just for the namesake. But in case if you are having a multiple application server, okay, then this is your main directory. It's a common. It has to be common. It has to be shared on all the additional application server, because this is the directory where all your profiles are created. There are three things over here. You have the kernel located in this directory, your profile, and other some security related information. So here, if you go over here, cd slash sap mnt. Okay, before that, let me take you to the slash partition and ll. So here is the SAP MNT, but here you can see it only at the directory. But if you run df minus h slash SAP MNT, so actually it's a mounted. Just a moment. Df minus h. Here, can you see over here SAP MNT? SAP MNT is a local directory, but the one directory SAP MNT SID. This is the directory. So let me make it clear: SAP MNT and your SID. This is the important directory for your system, local system. SID and USR SAP. There are others also, but this is the important USR SAP SID, and other than you might have the USR SAP trans and so on. So now coming to over here SAP MNT. So here can you see the SAP MNT SID is a directory which is coming from your S4H day one. It is coming from your primary application server. So it's a remote directory. It's a NFS. It's a network share. So it is shared from your primary application server and mounted on your secondary additional application server. Now, if you go into this directory, uh, just a minute, just please excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm going into my SID directories over there. You can see, you can only see this three directories. See, this is just a backup of our exe directory. So you can just ignore this. So this is the main directory which contains your kernel. So you, since you have done the kernel upgrade, so you are like quite familiar with this directory. This directory contains all your kernel files. This is a global directory. It contains some parameters, some files related to your security. So inside ls, you can see there is something SAP control, profile snapshot, ACL, access control list, message server access control list info, security information, and the security. Here in the security, okay, here you can find the some directories for the data, and the this is for your security, secure storage file system. So we'll not go, we'll going into the detail into this. I'm just showing you the directory over here. There you can find two directories, data and the key, which contains a data file and the key file. So we can just ignore the global. Then comes your profile directory. See, this is a directory where all the profiles are saved. Inside SAP MNT SID, you can find your profile directory. So these are all the profiles. So you can find the profile for your, see, you can, this is the profile of your ASCS instance. This is the profile of my primary application server, and in the same directory, I have the profile of my secondary application server. Sorry, additional application server. Here it is. This is the profile of my additional application server. And as and when I will be adding any additional server application servers in my system, all the profiles will be created in this common directory. So as the name suggests, this is a common directory which has to be mounted on all your application servers. Okay, to share the files between them. Is it clear till now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so this is the one directory SAPMT. It contains your kernel, the kernel file. So what is your kernel file? The kernel files are those files which creates your instance or which brings up your instance, the application. The application server doesn't contains any data, any database. Everything, all the SAP reports, all the SAP programs, all the ABAP T codes, all the repository, everything is there inside your database. Your application server doesn't contains any data. If you lose your application server also, you will not lose your data. Only you just have to reinstall, you just have to just have to run a system copy again to bring your to install an additional application server. Okay, the maximum that you'll be losing some parameters, some profile parameters which are stored at your profile level. That is the maximum thing that you will lose in case if you lose your additional application server. Sorry, if you lose your application server. So your database is the most important part over here. Okay, so your exe directories contains the files which only starts up the instance so that the application server, the instance of the application server can access your database, can serve your the user and in the backend it will get the data from your database and write the data, updated data to your database. Okay, is it clear? So this is one directory that your SAP MNT. Second is your USR SAP directory. This directory is a local directory. USR SAP directory is a local directory. It's not a shared or common directory. Okay, this is your local directory. Inside that there are many directories. You have a trans directory. Everything related to the transport. Everything related to the transport of your this one. Anything which you start a that you import into your database, all that records, all that logs, all information will be logged into your trans directory. Yeah, sorry, please excuse me for 1 minute. Yeah. So this is a trans directory. Then this is a TMP directory for some temporary files and all. This is the directory host control. This is the directory for your SAP host agent. Okay, so last time when we did the upgrade of your host agent, you might have like recognized the directory from there. This is some additional directory for CCMS. This was the previous. There was a component for monitoring your application, which is no longer like used already. So the main directory in your USR SAP is your SID directory. If you go into your SID directory, okay, here you can find your directory. So here this directory contains your HANA database client. Then there are these two directories. This is your sys directory, which again contains. If you go inside the sys directory, you run an LL. You can see most of the two of the directories over here is actually a shortcut to your directories which are there in your SAP MNT. Okay, can you see? This is again you can find an exe directory also over here. You can find an exe directory also over here, but these two global and the profile directory, these are a sim link to this location SAP MNT S4D global and SAP MNT S4D profile. Now in this exe, this is your local kernel directory. This is your local kernel directory. Now you will see that you have two locations for your kernel. One is in the SAP MNT directory, and one is there in your this one USR SAP sys directory. So now which one should you upgrade? You have to upgrade your SAP MNT location, SAP MNT directory. I think let me check if there is a variable over here. SAP system. No, the variable is not here. Normally in Windows system, you have a variable called as SAP exe. So it will give you the location of your kernel directory, the actual kernel directory. So you have to upgrade your kernel in that location. So in our case, we upgraded the kernel in the SAP MNT location. We haven't upgraded the kernel in this location, the local directory location. So now, if you don't upgrade the local, it doesn't mean it will give some error or there will be some inconsistency. So when you after doing the upgrade for the first time when you start your instance, so there is a binary called as SAP CPE. If you see the profile over here, uh, get profile inside the profile for your S4D D02. Okay, so this is a profile. Now here you will see over here their copy SAP executables. Can you see this one over here up till here? This one. So you can see copy SAP executable. So this is the special binary. This is the like a dedicated binary. When you start your instance, it compares the version of your kernel from your shared directory, SAP MNT directory with your local directory. And if it found that there is a difference in the kernel, okay, it will override the one on your local directory with the one which is there on your SAP MNT directory. Is it clear?
Yeah, but
Yes.
I have like one small question. Yeah, the like SAP and the like local, the both kernels are same, right?
See, if you after doing an upgrade, see after you download the yes, SAP XE and then you expected you'll copy the kernel, you'll overwrite the files in your SAP MNT location.
Correct.
Now, if you see over here, you will go onto your this one. If you see in the update that we did last time, if you check for the kernel upgrade, so here
Mm.
can you see we are copying the directory under SAP MNT SID exe, and we are
Mm.
overwriting the files which are there in SAP MNT SID exe. So
Correct.
your SAP MNT directory has been updated, but your local directory is still not updated. When you start your instance, when you start the instance after an update, it will compare your both the versions of your SAP MNT directory and your local directory. Okay, if it
Mm.
finds anything different, it will override the version from your older, sorry, SAP MNT to your newer, see, this one local directory.
Mhm. Okay, okay.
Is it clear? Anyone else asking any question? Okay, so here it is. This is your USR SAP MNT SID location over here. Okay, so now what I was saying about this. So now, if you want to find your logs for your system, see your shared directory, SAP MNT directory doesn't contain any logs and anything. Okay, it doesn't contain any logs, any user traces, anything else. So SAP MNT only contains the shared files for your configuration and other things. Okay, it also contain your kernel and your configuration files, the profiles and all what is it. So the logs cannot be found in your SAP MNT location. It has to be found under your USR SAP location only. So right now you are in a SAP USR SAP SID location. So whatever you log you want to find for your instance, that particular instance, you have to go inside that instance directory. This is your instance directory. Actually, this is not an instance directory. This is the common system directory for S4D. Inside this, can you see this directory D02? This is your instance directory. If you also see the slash SAP MNT S4D profile S4D underscore. Now, if you see all this file, okay, if you see all these locations over here, now can you see S4D? This one is here. Sorry, this is your instance directory. This is the instance name. The ASCS instance number 00. This is again your instance name, that is D01. Then this is the instance name D01, and this is the instance name D02. So this is just a backup, so you can ignore this. So this is for your primary application server D01, and this is for your secondary application server D02. Okay, don't go with the number. Don't consider that this is the number, since it is one, it is primary application server. This is two, it's an additional application server. Okay, it is not like that. In case if you can also change the instance number at the time of installation, I can also give the name for this instance, this additional application server as 00, because I selected 02 at the time of installation. I can also select 00 also at the time of installation. So you just have to pay attention to the host name over here, the system. On which system is this instance? So based on that, you can identify whether this is a primary application server or your additional application server. Okay, is this clear? So now this is your directory. Now you have to go inside your instance directory. This is my instance directory. Inside the instance directory, you will find a directory by the name as log, and also you'll find a directory by the name of work. So if you're looking for the logs of your work processes, you have to go inside the work directory. Okay, these are all the logs of your work processes. Now, if you see over here, if you these are the DEV, these are the developer traces. You can say you can identify them as developer traces. And if you see, this is Dev underscore disp, Dev underscore diff. This is your dispatcher log. Dev underscore diff dispatcher. Dev underscore ICM. This is your internet connection manager log. Then this is for your RFC related logs over here. RFC 0, RFC 1, and all. Then these are your work processor log. Work process number 0, work process number 1, then 2, 3, up till the number of work process that you have in your system. So in this system, you have up till 18 work processes. If you want to confirm, you can run the. Okay, so this dpmon command will not work right now because the application is down. So in case if the application is up, then you can run the dpmon command. You can count your work process, or you can log in into your SAP GUI application server, and you can check the from your SM50 key code. Okay, so these are the work process for them. So right now, if you see my what has failed over here when I was trying to start my application server, the dispatcher, the day underscore dispatcher failed. So let me try to open. This is the log. Or if you want not, if you're not sure, you can run ls minus ltr. Okay, so it will list your content in long format. It will sort them from time. T is for time and R is in the reverse order. If you don't give R, so what happens? If you don't give so what happens? All see this is all your older logs for July 16. Your all your recent logs is there in the top of the screen, the top of the command. So that is why we run ls minus ltr so that all the latest logs should come in the bottom. So these are all your latest logs. So you can see my latest log contains. Okay, let me check in the standard error. Can I find anything related to my situation? What is happening? Okay, it says could not open ACL. This is okay. This is one error coming over here. Let me check my Dave underscore dispatcher new. Okay, go inside this file. This is the case. Just refer the date over here. What is the date? This is for today, July 17. And the time right now it is 2:56. So this is the log for 2:34. So it is like very near to my situation. Now I can see some warnings over here. You can ignore the warnings. You can just search for ERR for the error message. Okay, you can search for the ERR. Okay, can you see over here? You can see the errors over here. These are the errors why you can see at the last line over here, dispatcher emergency shutdown. So you can find over here why your dispatcher was crashed over. You can find something for your key could not create segment. So actually it is not quite a clear message, but because of based on my experience, I can understand from here. My segment means it is not able to create memory structure inside the memory. And one clear reason for is this is because of low memory. It is not able to create the memory structure as per its requirement. So from here I can understand that the memory of this server is low. Yes, is it clear with everyone?
Yes, for me.
Okay, so here it is. So now I can understand this is the reason over here. Now what you can do is that you need to shut down this instance if it is running or it's already this instance is already crashed. So no, you can don't need for doing a clean stop. You can just log off from here and I will just change the size of this VM. So let me first shut down this VM. This is the VM over here which is running with the B2S 4G memory. I am stopping this VM. So you can see this VM has shut down. So I've shut the VM. Let me stop till the VM gets completely shut down. Okay, here it is. So now it is stopped now. Now let me go here inside, change the size. Let me again change it to D2S B3, two CPUs and 8 GB memory. This size. Okay, this is resized. Let me verify whether it is resized or not. Okay, so here you can see the VM has been resized now to D2S V3. Now power on this VM, start this VM. So I have added memory for this VM, and now we'll try to start the application server and check whether it is running or not. Okay, so it has started now. Let me check the connect to the VM. Okay, wait for two minutes. Okay, so it is connected now. Let me log in with my SID AGM user, and now I'm going to start the. So here I'm going to start it with this command. Only the instance start. Okay, now let me monitor it. Running but status info available. Okay. Okay, can you see the application has started? The instance has started. Now I can log into my second instance. So this is my second. This is the additional application server. This one is the primary application server. So let me connect to my additional application server. You can see I've got the login screen. And also you can note down the instance from here in the bottom right hand side. So here it is. Okay, can you see the name of your host name? S4H2. So I'm connected to the additional application server on the second VM. Okay, here I'm connected to my instance. You can run the SM51 now, and you can check for the available application servers. So can you see? I can see two application servers over here. This is the first one, my primary application server, and this is the second one, the additional application server. You can also check the processes in SM66. If you run SM66, you can see the combined work process for both the application servers. Can you see? There are so many work processes. So if you see over here, the first these are for your secondary application server, sorry, additional application server. Okay, up till here, these are the work process for your additional application server, and below that, these are the work process for your primary application server. Okay, here it is. Also, you can check for the users that are logged in from AL08. So this is the it will show you a combined list of all the users which are currently logged into the system. Okay, AL0. Can you see over here? 0201. So this user has been logged in from 0 to SAP admin. This user is logged in from the primary application server. Yes, is it clear? Any doubts and queries till now? Yes, anybody there?
No, Bhushavar.
What about others?
Yeah, no issues. Muzaffar,
Yes.
just want to know if we install, like for example, if we create a demo account on Azure and if we
Mhm.
install these servers and all, so what are
Mhm.
the costs? Like how much do we end up paying if we do?
Okay. Yes, very good question. I've done a lot of testing on this part. So yes, I can reply to you on this. So operation VM costing. Okay, so I made Excel sheet also over here. So these are for the HANA VMs and this is for the basis VM. So
Okay,
basically, you will be needing three VMs over here: your basin, the basin host, the HANA DB, and your S4HANA application server.
okay,
Okay, so in every VM, you will be having two types of costing. One is your compute costing, and one is your OS disk costing.
okay,
Compute costing is for your CPU and memory. Disk is for your storage.
okay,
So compute will be your size of your VM. So for Bayesian host, I'm selecting B2S, two processors, 4 GB memory. Okay, the
okay,
price of this is 2,608 rupees per month. For example, in a monthly, if I'm using it for 25 hours, the
okay.
cost of that will be 89 rupees. And the disk, see the disk, once you create a VM, even if you don't start the VM, your compute cost will be like stopped, but your disk charges will not stop because you are still using that disk on Azure storage. So see
Oh, is
one
it?
thing over
Okay,
here, I have calculated for the whole month, 730 hours for the whole month.
okay,
So this costing is for the whole month, so it is 116 rupees. So total costing for 1 month for 25 hours of compute, with 25 hours of compute, it is 206 rupees. So this
okay,
looks very simple and very enticing, but if you go with the HANA database, you can see over there. So here you have the compute charges. This is the VM E16S. This is the configuration 16 CPUs, 128 GB memory. This is the price for the whole month, 53,000 rupees. If you are using it for 25 months, then this is for like 1,815 rupees something. Then comes your OS disk. You will have to add a OS disk to it. Then you'll have to add an additional disk to it for your database and backup and everything, which will be a 128 GB memory. Sorry, 128 GB size, the disk and all. So the total costing for your HANA DB is 3,278.39. And for your S4 HANA application server, it is 693 rupees. So the total comes to 4174.22. Then you need to have an additional 18% GST
okay.
tax on it. So that comes to around 4,000, around 5,000 rupees. And these are the older prices because now they've increased the prices from this 56,000, 53,000. I think some 3 or 4,000 has been increased in the for the VM costing and all. So it might go up to like say like something like 5,400, somewhere around like 5,500 for the same usage and 25 hours in a month.
Okay, so
And
this is all only for 25 hours a month, not more than that.
yes, this is all for 25 hours of your usage in a month. Okay, second thing, what is that? When you first create an account in your Azure, okay,
Mhm.
you can create a free account. In the free account, you will be getting $200 of free credit.
Okay, $200. Okay,
Okay, but though that 200 credit you have to use within 1 month, within 30 days from the day of your registration. Okay,
okay,
because on the 31st day, all the credits will be exhausted. It will be cleared from your account. So from the 31st day, it will start your fresh billing.
okay.
That is it.
Okay. So, so looks like for the disk, you have to pay
Yes,
whatever whether you use 25 hours or not.
yes. Whether
So
use or
for the
not, because see,
compute, if you keep the server shut down, you don't need to pay. Correct, right?
yes, you don't have to pay for that yourself.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so this is the system over here. We have seen the troubleshooting part over here. How you can troubleshoot your VM over here. Yes. Any doubts? Any queries now till now? Okay, no problem. Let us move ahead and we'll do some monitoring. Let us check some monitoring. Daily monitoring checklist. Okay. See, some of you might be working on a higher level, maybe on L2 or L3 level also. These topics which I am taking, these are related to L0 and L1. So don't misunderstand that, okay, I'm teaching you the basic over here because many people here don't know the basics about application server, the basics. So I had to explain them about the monitoring also. So once you start your career in SAP Basis, okay, in the early stages of your career at a junior level, associate level, so it is you are not expected to do bigger activities like doing an installation of the HANA database application server, doing a system refresh, doing a system copy, client copy, anything. You have to start yourself from the base. You have to start yourself from the like basic level. So in the basic, in the early stage of your career, you have to start with like monitoring basic activities. Monitoring. So you have to understand what monitoring is, what are the key codes used for monitoring, and what are the different areas that you can monitor in your application server. Okay, so here this is the key code over here for your monitoring. This is the column. This is the description of the key code, and here it is given a frequency. So don't take this frequency as an hard and fast rule. It depends on your project. It depends on your environment. It depends on your situation. Okay, so here it is not like that you have to go every hour. You have to check your users and everything. If your project demands, if the situation demands, then you might have to do it, or it's up to you. Okay, so first one is your SM04 and AL08. So what you can check in your system is that you can run SM04 and check how many users are logged into your application server. So SM04 shows you how many users are logged into your particular application server. If you see this here, you can see this list is for your secondary. This list is for your additional application server. You can see the name over here, S4H Dev 2. This is for the second node, and this is for your instance number 02. So this is the list of the users which are logged into your additional application server. This doesn't contains any user which are logged into your primary application server. So then what is the use of this command? You can directly go and check in AL08. Okay, so the in the systems which doesn't have any additional application server, you can directly use this T code to check the current user. Okay, in case where you have multiple application servers, you have to go and check using the AL08 command. Slash O, I'm opening a new session with the T code AL08. Okay, here I'm opening a new session with the T code AL08. Now you can see over here. Can you see over here? This session is for this is a, like a, it's a system wide list. It is not a instance specific list. It's a system wide list, and it contains for your system S4D. So here you can see there's an extra column in the starting. This column is for your AS instances. Okay, and these are the clients on which the users have been logged in, and from which system. See, you can see here this user has been logged in from your application additional application server. Okay, this user, the bottom user, they are logged in from your primary application instance. This is the user ID with which they are logged in. This is the client host on which they are logged in. The client host means this is your application server, the host on which they are logged in. This is the use they are logged in. This user are logged in from the patient. Okay, now if you check over here, how can this user? These are the RFC user, DG RFC scheduler, and everything. Okay, and this is also a RFC user. This is a DG RFC. This is the now this user. If you see over here, this user has logged in from your SAP GUI. This is a GUI user. The other users, they are internal users. They might be coming in from some background job. Some background job is execute. It might create some new RFC connection with some other users. So this you can see. These are all for these users are coming from some RFC were created, or these sessions were created by some RFC connections. Now, if you refresh it, you might find some changes also. You might find some changes. Now, let me log into another system also. This is a two. This is also two. Now, let me log in into the primary application server. Okay, so this is a problem over here. If I try to log in with one same user on a different application server twice, so that is the reason I created a new user yesterday. I'm logging with this test user on the primary application server. Now, if I go on this screen, if I click on refresh on this screen, if I click on refresh, see now I can see two users with the GUI RFC connection. Sorry, GUI connection. I can see two users over here. These are the two users who are logged in with their GUI, and you can also see what the user is doing from this application column. So this user is using an AL8, AL08 key code. This user is just using a session manager. It means it has just logged into the system. It is not doing anything. If you want to see any change, you can come over here. You can run any key code from here. For example, SCC4. I'm running SCC4. Okay, now if I come over here and refresh this screen, see, can you see over here? This SSS, it has changed to SM30. So it is not showing SCC4, it is showing SM30 because this is the exact program which this T code is calling. Okay. Is it clear with everyone till now for the user login, user list over here? How you can check the users in your application server and how you can monitor them?
Yes, Muzaffar, but I have a question.
Yes, yes, yes.
About priority tab. Can
Of
you
what?
explain high priority, low priority?
Okay. Where is it? Here it is. This is a high priority and a low priority. Okay, so normally when you are calling a background job, it depends. It depends on the background job what priority you can set it to it. If you see over here, all the GUI connections will have a high priority. The GUI connections will not have a low priority over here. Okay, only for say okay, this also this RFC it is calling with a high priority. Okay, some background job, some background job might open one new session with a low priority session also. Okay, so when you open a low priority session, the system will give low importance to that session. Do you get this point?
Yes.
Okay. And also, for example, if you see this user over here, the test01 user, it is logged in into the SM, it is using the SM30. Now, for suppose you find this user is using a high memory. For example, this is the column for your memory that the user is occupying or using. So, for example, if you find that the user is doing a high activity and which is impacting the performance, okay, which is impacting the performance. Now you cannot reach the user. For example, is not available on his mobile, is not available on his desk. So you cannot ask the user to come out or close his session or whatever he's doing, to close the activity whatever he's doing. So you see, if you're not able to connect to the user, what you can do is that you can directly, you can open, you can click, you can select this user over here and you can click on the sessions over here. Can you see the user information? No, not this user information. Let me double click on it. Okay, if you double click on it, you will go to the actual application server. Now you have to select the user over here, test01, and you have to click on the ABAP session. When you click on the ABAP session, you can see what the user is doing over here. If he has opened multiple sessions, okay, for example, this user has opened multiple sessions. Okay, for example, now he is opening SM59 slash OSM59. Okay, now again he's opening slash OSP01. Okay, he has opened 3 sessions. Now, if you come over here in your tab, if you click on the refresh, okay, you can see multiple sessions for this user. Okay, it might be created in another. Let me check. This is RSC connection. Okay, sorry. So here you need to you can select the user over here. Select the user. Click on the ABAP session. So now you can see the multiple sessions over here. Can you see one user has opened multiple sessions? This was the session which was like he was working on this session at this date and time. Sorry, this time. For this session, he is working till this time. This session is working till this time. So this is the oldest session. This is the middle term session, and this is the latest session on which he is working. For example, this session is creating some issue. You want this session to close. You want to close the session. You can select this session and you can click on delete session. So this is the session over here which he has opened for the view maintenance. This is the session for the SCC4. If you want to close it, you can select this session, select the session view maintenance, click on delete session. Okay, can you see you have got an error message? Click on OK. Now you can see the user has only 2 windows available. The SM59 and the ES1 SP01. You cannot find the SCC4 window because we have closed the session for that user. Okay, similarly, you can also select other session also. Or for example, if you want to just remove the user from the whole system, if you see the session, he's having two sessions open, but you don't want to delete the sessions one by one. You can directly select the user, and you can click on user and log of user local system wide. If you select system wide, he will be logged in from all the application servers. Okay, and if you click on local, he'll be logged on, or he will be logged up only from the particular application. So now I'm clicking on system wide. I'm just kicking the user out of the system, all the system. Okay, can you see all the sessions have been closed? See, there is no session now for the user test 01. Yes, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, similarly, you can check for your log entries. I think last time after the installation in the next session, I told you about what a log entry. SM12. These are the log entries. For example, if a user opens one session, now for example, this year, now this user, let me log in with another user over here. Let me log in with the test user. Okay, for example, this user opens one session. If he goes into SCC4, okay, he changes goes into the change mode, and he opens this client 100. Now this test user has opened this T code SCC4 and he's making some changes. Now if you come over here, if you check for this user, now this is for the SAP admin user. Delete this user to check for all the users. If you want to check for all the clients, you can delete the client also. Okay, now you can click on search. It will search for all the logs which have been maintained in the system. So now see, you can see the log for the test user. Can you see the log for the test user? What is the log it is related to? It is related to a table T000, the table which contains all the entries for your client, system's client. Okay, so this user is maintaining this table over here because he's opened this T code in this screen over here. Now, in case if you see this, it means he's working on it. Sometimes what happens, for example, this user is working from a laptop or say PC and he's using a wireless connection. Now, due to some reason, the wireless connections get a temporary disconnection. Okay, it gets disconnected for like say 2 or 3 minutes or maybe half an hour or something. So the wireless get temporarily disconnected. So what happens? This screen will get closed, the user's screen will get closed, but what happens, the lock might still remain in the system. The lock will not be deleted from the system because that screen, that T code SCC4 was not closed cleanly. Since the T code or since the screen was not closed cleanly, that lock might still remain in your application server. Okay, so what you have to do in the monitoring, you have to open this log, you have to open this record, you have to search for older logs. The logs which are, for example, say 24 hours older. Logs which are older than say 24 hours. It depends on your company's policy. More, for example, some company might have policy for 4 hours also. Any logs which are older than 4 hours, you can delete them. Older than 6 hours, older than 12 hours, or maybe older than 24 hours. Okay, so on a safe side, you can go for 24 hours. If a lock is older than 24 hours, so you can assume that since the lock is there for 24 hours, you can assume that the user is not working in the system for 24 hours on this particular lock. It might be that this lock has become orphaned. Okay, so that is the reason it has not been cleared yet. So what you can do for this lock over here, you can go over here in administration and you can I think right click. I think you can delete this lock from here. Uh, right click, copy, optimize, find spreadsheet, administration, lock table. Okay, so it's already here. It is here. Is this log? Okay, sorry. Here, these are the controls for your management of your log. Can you see? These are the controls. So here you can see the delete button. This is your delete button. You can delete the log from here. So select this log and click on the delete icon, the recycle bin icon, the bin icon. Deleting logs that are still in use may lead to inconsistencies. Note that the action will be documented in the system log. Do you want to proceed? System log means SM21. So if you go, a new GUI window. If you go into SM21, okay, let me check it for the last 24 hours over here. So these are the logs over here. So here are the logs. So this is till the 321. The log here are till 321. Now I'm going to delete this log from here. Once let me try to delete this log from here. I'm deleting this log entry from here. Can you see the log entry has gone? If you see 5 logs have been displayed. So I can see that the log has been deleted from the table. Now, first thing that you will notice the change over here, if you go to the screen of the user who was logged in, okay, if you try to make any changes or do something, for example, it might be change, it should give an error. But here, if you make any changes, if you try to save it, it will give an error because it will try to find the log and it will not find it. Okay, so now this log has been deleted from the log table. Now, if you go in the this log and if you refresh it, see, can you see over here? You can see the entry over here. Lock entry deleted manually. See triple. This is the lock entry for the which was deleted manually. This was deleted by the user SAP admin. Yes, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, similarly, you have a ticket SM13. These are for the update entries. Okay, now what happens when you are working on your SAP system, you are connect to your system through SAP GUI program, or there might be some background jobs which are running in the background. So now what happens after they are processing? Okay, after whatever program they are executing, after they process the data. Okay, for example, they are writing something into the disk. For example, a user has opened a screen and it is making a changes. For example, a bank employee is making a changes that the current interest rates have been changed for senior citizens. Okay, previously the senior citizen used to get an interest rate of say like 8%, but now as per the renewed policy from the government or maybe from the bank, they are offering 9% of interest rate for the senior citizens which are about 65 years of age. So now what will happen? The employee will open one screen. He will type a user the age greater than 65, interest rate 8. He'll change the interest rate from 8 to 9, and then he'll save it. Now, what will happen in the background? One SQL query will be generated on the runtime. It will try to go and update all the records in the database in which the column, the age column is above 65, okay, and the interest rate is 8. So there it will change the interest rate of all this all the this one customers with the age greater than 65, and it will update the interest rate to 9%. So this is the changes. For example, one employee. Now what happens during the change? Now what after processing everything, it changes the information in this memory. Okay, it fetches all the records for the users, customers above 65 years in the memory. It will update the change in the memory. It will apply that query in the memory on that particular data set. After successfully doing it, it will now try to go and write that data into your database. Now, but suppose what happens, there is an issue. There might be a connection issue. Whatever your database connectivity between your application server and your database, there is a minor drop, packet drop, or maybe something. There's a minor disconnection. Any other, there is a bug in the program or in the work process for your update work process. Many reasons, X, Y, Z reason. What happens? It gets disconnected. Now, once it gets disconnected, the user who has saved the record, he has not got an acknowledgement yet. If this record is not successfully written in your disk, it will give you an error. Directly it will get another screen. So what will happen? The user will again cancel his transaction. He will start a fresh transaction. He will start a fresh transaction, again do the same transaction, and this time it will be successful. Okay, but his previous transaction which has not get successful, that record, that update request will be displayed. It will reflect in your this update request screen over here. So now if you run this execute, you might find that failed update request over here. You might all the failed update requests which have not been able to successfully update in your database. So what you have to do is here again, as per your company policy, all the update requests, for example, which are older than 24 hours or maybe 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, you have to select all these update requests and you have to delete them. You can directly do the selection from here itself. I think from date. So what you can do is that your date will be Okay, the date from here to date. So you can pass it to all the date, sorry, from to the current date. So F2, here we have to give the current date. For example, the date is 17th and 07 dot 2022. Okay, this is the current date from time. So you want to check the time from the last from on this date. Okay, sorry, I think the mistake over here. Let me again go into the same. SM13 is from this date, from this time. So what time you are taking from? So right now the time is 3:30. Okay, the right now the time is 3:30. Let me check it from 11:30. So I'm going to check it the time from 11:30. 11:30 to 3:30. It is approximately it is 4 hours. So and two time. Okay, so let me execute it. Once you execute, it will show you all the records which have been for the last 4 hours. Okay, but these are for the last 4 hours. You have to see the records which are older than 4 hours. You have to select as per your filter the record, and you have to delete the records which are older than that particular specific time. Yes, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, again, this is SM21 for your system log. If you want to check anything in your system log, you can see all the details from your system log. Okay, you can see for any error messages. See, these are the very high priority messages. This red one. Okay, transaction cancelled. Then comes here, if you want to see the details, you can double click on it and you can see the details from here. The transaction has been terminated. This may be caused by a termination message from the application message. This. So which was the transaction that got cancelled? I think it might be a transaction for the user. It is not giving any detail over here. This transaction got cancelled. Okay, for the B01. So this transaction got cancelled. It's a very high priority message. Then if you see the yellow message, it's a high priority message. Yellow messages are high priority message, and the green ones they are warnings. Okay, just understand this green one doesn't mean they are good ones, so they are like no error. These are the warnings, and the white one, these are the information. The white ones are the information. So this is from the SM21. You can check your log. Then your background jobs. If you want to check, monitor your background jobs, you can go into SM37. You can do the filtering over here. If you want to check for all the logs for all the users, you can remove for all the users. If you want to check for all the users, and if you want to check for the your jobs which are active or which have been cancelled, you don't want to check the logs which have finished successfully. You just want to check the logs which are still running and which have got cancelled, and you can check it from the logs from the starting date from like any starting date. So execute. Okay, specify a real user. So here you have to specify a star, execute. So can you see over here? These are the jobs which have been cancelled till date. These are the jobs. Or if you're monitoring every day, then you don't have to mention this over here. You can mention to the today's date also. So all the jobs which have cancelled in today's date, you can monitor it over here. Only the jobs which are cancelled in today's date. So this was the job which was cancelled in today's date 17. This is for your data backup, and this is the J for your monitoring or something. So if you want to see the detail why this job got cancelled, select this job and you can check the job log over here. So here if you click the job log, you can see job cancelled after system exception error message. Okay, this kind of error message, this it is not showing you what error message is over here. In this kind of, if you get an error message, after error message, what you can do is that you can go into ST22. You can check in ST22 whether there was any dump for the same time. So no, there was no dump for the same time. What is the time for this? We can see the log. It is at today's date 2:26. So there is no dump for today. So you can check in SM21. Let me check in SM21. Okay, this for today's date. Let me check for 2:26. So this is the time for 2:26. Okay, can you see somewhere over here? This is the timing for 2:26. Now, what time did my job get cancelled? It got cancelled at 2:26:18, somewhere between 17 and 18. So let me check here for 17 and 18. This is for 2:26:12. No. Server startup procedure check config. There is no log for that particular time. This is a 27 short term deleted with default tool. So I cannot find any detail of this log. Why it got cancelled? DBA backup. Okay, let me check if I've scheduled any backup job or what. DB13. I think I've scheduled any backup job for DB13. DB13. Okay, can you see these are all the jobs? So that is what is happening for today's job, 17. So let me check it for day wise. So for day wise for today's job, if I see it has got cancelled. What was the reason? You can see the job log over here, schedule failed. So data job has exceeded its latest start date. Okay, the job cannot start because at the time when it should have supposed to start, the system was down. The job should have supposed to start at in the midnight, and in the midnight the system was down. So can you see how I have come across, how I have got to the actual root cause of this issue? I can see where did I started with it. I started in the SM37. Now this is the error from here. So from this error, it has taken me. I can understand from this is related something to DBA job. So from the DBA job, I went to DB13, and I can find that for this is over the log which is sorry, this is for the job which has given the error. Is it clear with everyone?
Yes.
Yes, I hope you're getting it because this is a little complicated also, and you can say, but this becomes very, like say, very interesting if you're doing the actual troubleshooting, because you come to know, okay, what is this reason? If you have that something kind of a detective instinct, how to detect, how to analyze what is the problem, how to find it, then you'll find it very interesting. So something like a puzzle and everything. So this is from why this backup, why this job has failed. If you want to check for this second job, you can click and check job log, or you can also double click on it. No, not double click. Let me check here. Cancel. No. So you'll have to select this job, or if you double click on it, then on this screen you have to select the job log. So here you can see job this CCMS monitoring this step no alerts in configuration rest finish creating this job cancel after system exception alert type 11 does not exist. So this is the error message over there. Can you see here? You can find the error message here itself. Alert type. So there is an alert type 1125 which does not exist in the system, and that is the reason this job has failed. Okay. If you want to check in the system, if you want to check further in there, if you got for SM for 31, the snapshot to created reason hard. This is for 231. Job cancel after system exception at 231.35. 231. No, I cannot find any log for 231.35. I cannot find it into your ST20D also. There is no dump also. So the error message is here itself. The alert type 1125 does not exist. Yes, is it clear till now?
Yes.
Now the next monitoring key code is for your work processes. Now for your work processes, so if you want to monitor your work processes, this is word two. Okay, this is okay. So now you can monitor your work process from in a normal system, single node system. You can monitor from SM50. You run SM50, you'll see all the work processes for that instance, for that particular application server. Okay, but if you want to search for all the application server, you can run /OSM66. You can run as /OSM66. You will see all the work processes which are there in your system. Okay, it means it will also include from your all the additional application servers also. So sometimes if you have multiple application servers, it will give you a long list. You have to scroll a lot. In case if you don't want to see all the work process, you can just click on active work processes. Only those work processes which are currently active. Any changes which are doing on the current work process. So you can click over here and you can refresh and monitor them. This is I T code for SM50 and SM51. Sorry, SM50 and SM66. SM51, similarly, if you go with SM51, so the same, I think you already show you if you want to monitor your additional application servers, how many application servers are up, whether all of them are up or whether any of them are inactive or having an issue. Okay, now this one, after the introduction of HANA, I have not come across this T code for monitoring or anything else. So this was an earlier T code for non-HANA databases. Okay, these are the parameters over here. Normally, this was for your buffers, memory, and caches. Normally, it used to give some every time if you run this T code in any other non-HANA DB in other non-HANA databases, you'll find some at least one, two, or three of the parameters in red. But here in the HANA till now, I have not find any parameter values which are in the red. Okay, because maybe I think because it is like a higher you in memory database, or maybe like this system we are not using it to the because there is no load on the system. So maybe after some load is there in the system, you might some values which you can find as red. So if in case if you want to see, so this is you can double click on the screen wherever it is red. For example, for this value, you can just double click and you will find the details about the these parameters. Okay, yes, is it clear? Any doubts?
No.
Okay,
Normally, we will use I will use these three codes no, so that I don't have any like this one.
okay. Now next comes your workload monitor. What is your workload monitor? For example, if you want to get some historical data from your system, okay, if you want to get some historical data, which users have been using which T codes, what was their response time, what was their DB time, how many steps they took. So for example, you can go for this. So now we have two servers over here. This is the primary application server. This is the secondary application server. In your primary application server, day wise, if you want to see for the day wise for today, okay, or for example, if you want to say, let me click on for today, double click on it. On the right hand side, you will see all the data for today. Okay, on the below side, you can see for the workload overview. When you double click on today, in the bottom pane you can see for the workload overview. If you want to see for the memory use statistics, you can double click over here. You will see on the right hand side, you will see the memory use statistics. If you want to see for the, for example, spool statistics, double click on it. On the right side, you will see the spool statistics related data. If you click on the workload overview, so this is the details of your workload. These are the times taken. These are the time. Can you see workload overview? So this is the report for your average time per step in milliseconds. So these are from your highest values. Okay, so there you can find the program over here. The first column is your task type, auto ABAP, auto CCMS, and all this over here. And this is the steps which was taken. So you can click on this table over here, and you can sort it, select like ascending or descending. So sort it in descending order. So the highest value should come in the top. So you can see the background. So the task tab was background. The background, the jobs have been taking the highest steps, 790 steps. Then the RFC programs have been taking 548 steps. Okay, the time taken for you. So it is 967 point. Don't go for the comma because see the comma you have to just ignore the comma. If you want to change the comma system, you need to go into slash o su01. You have to change the decimal notation for this user. Let me go over here. SU01, go into the defaults. So here can you see the notation, decimal notation. So here you can see the comma. Instead of comma, it is dot, and instead of the decimal, it is comma. So click on the drop down and change it to the second value. Second value. Now save it. So I have changed the decimal notation for my user. I have changed the decimal notation for my user. Now, if you see the value, it is showing again. Now, just refresh it. So, refresh the screen from here. Here is the for the refresh your screen. Can you see? Okay, can you see the screen now? Let me again click on it and change it to. Can you see the values now instead of the? No, it is still showing as a comma only. Let me come out of the screen. And let me again start the monitor ST03M. Okay, workload day wise. So today, no, it is still not changed. I might need have to log up and log in again. Sorry. ST30M device today. Actually, not. Maybe I think I need to restart or something. Maybe because it's still showing the notation as three dot. It is not dot actually. It is 7,636.1. Okay, so these are the number of steps taken. This is the average time. So you can also sort the column with the time wise. The highest number of time was taken by this program, this type, 11,363 milliseconds. Okay, so if you want to divide, if you want to see the average time in seconds, you have to divide this value with 1,000. Divide this value with 1,000. So this is what example. The value is 11,363 point 5 divided by 1,000. So this is in seconds. So what is the average time? It is 11 seconds, 36 milliseconds. So I think it is quite low. So not a case of like say you have to no for taking a note of this, and these are the different values over here. You can see for the database related values over here, how much the time it took for the sequential rate, t sequential, and this access time, the change time, and the calls, number of calls that were made, and many different values, role information, parts of response. So you can monitor, you can get historical data from this system. Okay, workload. Okay, we'll take a break now. We'll continue after this. Is it okay?
Yes.
We'll take a break of say like 15-20 minutes and then we'll continue after that. Yeah. Okay. See you.
Okay.
Okay. So here it is. Last time we took up ST03, then comes ST04, SQL Server Performance Analyzer. So for your SQL database, any kind of SQL queries, you can run this record ST04. Okay, so I think it is the same screen as your DB02. This is the same screen from your DB02. So you can see over here, database connection default STP successfully. SQL Server Performance Analysis. So you can do the analysis I think from here. Overview, performance. Okay, you can check for the expensive statements. What are expensive statements? Means those statements which are taking too much resource, which are putting too much load on the system. So those statements are called as active statements. Okay, so in case if you find that your system is performing very slow or it is like having a very slow, you can try to check these expensive statements. If any kind of expensive statements is running in the system, you can identify the SQL statement and you can identify from which program it is running and from which program you can identify which user is it running. Okay, and then you can go and kill that user or you can ask that user to close or shut down that activity so the system can recover from it. So again, now here is your active statement. You can also check your active statements which are running in the system. If not active, so you can see over here on this HTTP dev one, select host as host over here. So this is the statement which is currently running. In a normal system, when you run the screen, you will find many number of active statements running over here. But right now, here you will only find like a selected few coming over here. Okay, then SQL plan cache, load history, you can do all the related monitoring of your SQL servers from here. Here, since this system is not in use, now you will not find much data in it. Once you start working on a system which has data, it will very easy for you to understand, okay, what are these things and how to monitor them and how to identify what is good and what is bad. Okay. Then comes ST06 operating system monitor, but this also from HANA. After HANA, I have not used this T code ST06. So this is for your system. You can go for your system. You can see the operating system information, the version of your system, the timestamp since when it is started, powered on, host name. You can check the host name over here. You can find all the operating system related information over here: virtualization, configuration, CPU, average CPU for 5 minutes, number of CPUs, memory related. Okay, you can find all these details over here. This is for the snapshot. Previous hours, for the previous hours, if you check for the CPU, what was the load on the previous hours, so you can check the details over here. This is for currently, this is for the last 1 minute, last 2 minutes, last 3 minutes, I think, then the 10 minutes, something like this. So here you can check all your operating system related load and everything. Okay, the LAN, you can check for the LAN, what is the how much network utilization is having over here. You can check for these packets in, packets out, error, if there's any error in the system. So here you can see all the zero errors in, errors out, packets in. So it's a very low packets activity. This is 75. Packets out only 15. Packet in, then this is packet out. This is 50. So this is the T code SC. Then SC22, we already have seen this T code SC22. Whenever you execute any program, if the program crashes, okay, if the program crashes here, for example, here yesterday it gave a dump. Yesterday it gave a dump. You can see, you can click on yesterday, you can see the dump over here. Can you see? Yesterday at this date, this is the date, this was the time it gave a dump. Start call sick. This was the same time when I was trying to, I stopped the ASCS instance. Yes, I stopped the ASCS instance and I was trying to log in into the application server. This is the time where it gave this error sick. You can double click on it. Once you double click on this, you will see the details of this log. Can you see the start transaction 6? So what was the consistency? To check this error, you have to start the transaction 6. Okay, but right now, if you open the transaction 6, it will say that no errors reported because right now the error has been resolved. But at that time, yesterday, at that time when you opened this dump, if you have checked this SICK, you would have seen the error message. Okay, right now, there is no error message over here. Okay, the installation error, what I can do, what error analysis and everything you can find over here. So it is showing you how to correct the error. If you see in this part, how to correct the error. You can mostly can go for this section, how to correct the error. So it is telling you start call sheet. You have to start this program and check the details over here. If you cannot solve the problem, please send the following information to SAP. One more thing for you is that if you're troubleshooting, if you're searching for any error and all, analyzing any error, you'll see Google is your best friend. You can search for any error on the Google, but before going to Google, try to search it in your support.sap.com, support.sap.com/notes. Go in this portal, go on this portal and try to search. For example, this is the error message. Okay, this was the error message. Start call sick. Try to open with this, try to search for this error message over here in your support. So it will show you all the SAP notes which contains this error related to this error message. Okay, right now it will not be relevant because actually this is not an error message. This is just a pointer. It is telling you to go in the SIG transaction where you'll get the exact error message. So in this scenario, you have to run the SIG command, go in the SIG command, get the exact error message, then come back on this screen or here, and you can check for this error message. For example, yes, you can do this thing. Let me go into. I copied that error message from my system. No, it is not here. Okay, so let me again check it from there. Where did I went? CD / ESR SAP SID instance name and your work directory ls-ltr Dave underscore new. Let me check for Dave underscore dispatcher. Grep segment star. Let me check it for Dave underscore star. Okay, so I can see the error message over here. There is it. Can you see? Creating memories segments, cries of single. Check for error. Here was the error message partner. This cannot no message. Okay, can you see this error message over here? And my message. So we let me reading data from message server. This. Let me try to search for this error message. Let's see if I can find anything. Okay, you copy this error message and you can put it over in this screen here. Okay, SAP community configuration. I don't think this is an exact error message. And my connection broke and okay, disconnect from message server instead DP system state. We're also finding error message. Let me check for nothing. Let me check here in this OS21. Let us check for this error message. Operating system link called failed. Okay. Control C. SAP community. SAP ID should I go to okay. Okay, here can you see where we found one note for this? If you search for it, you will find where you have found one note for this. Operating system call unlick failed. It's a little bit once you get used to it, you will identify how to search for it. So it was when I gave it the bracket, it was not able to search. But when I after removing the bracket, it was able to search. See, ICM failed to delete Unix domain software. This is cause report. Let us take the errors for this. So these are the cause for you. This is the resolution for it. So here you can find the cause for what are the cause for this. You can open the SAP node. You can go through it, and you can first you have to establish a relation between your error message and the SAP node. Don't try to blindly follow any SAP node that you come across. because every error message has a different kind of like say reason for that message. So first you have to establish that whether that relevant SAP note is relevant to your situation or not. Okay. Yes, am I clear on this?
Yes.
Okay, now that is how you can find for it. Now coming to your second SP01. This is for your spool request. Any spool request that you send, it goes to your SP01. If you don't have an immediate output, for example, if you do search for all the spool requests, remove all the parameter, it will search for all the spool requests in the system. Remove the client also, remove the system name also. It might be this is coming from some other system before any kind of DB refresh, then you can remove the system name also. If I'm executing it, so see, can you see these are all the spool requests which are there in my system. This was generated by SAP admin, this was generated by DDIC. So if you don't think that these are all relevant in your scenario, so what you can do is that you can just select all the spool requests and you can delete it. How can you select it? Here is the icon select all the spool requests, and from here you can delete them. So yes, in your scenario, you can delete the spool requests which are older than 2 or 3 days old, 7 days old, depending on your system policy, company's policy. SP02, DB02, DB02 we just saw for this DB02 the same key code. It will, sorry, I, here let me take select and DB02. Okay, this is the same key code actually we saw last time. Last time we saw this screen, current overview. This was the screen that we got last time. Okay, this was the overview and everything, last refresh, alerts and all. Now it is showing you just this one. I think. Diagnostic, you can run the diagnostic, you can check for the audit log if you want to go to the log messages, missing tables and index. If there are any tables which are missing and the indexes. Other than that, backup status. If you want to check your backup status, not depending whether you have scheduled your backup from the application server. If you scheduled the backup from the application server, you can check it from DB12. Okay, you can check the message from DB12. Okay, but if you have not scheduled the backup from this, then you have to go to the respective backup software from where you have scheduled the backup. Okay, can you see all this? This is the backup related. Sorry, backup status overview. So all the backups have failed. Okay, error during asynchronous file transfer. This. No space left on device. Can you see the error message? No space left on device. Okay, so here you can see the error message and you can identify why there's no space. You have to go to the database server, check the space df minus h. Okay, so where it is now? Can you see the 101? This is the full. It is for full. It is not able to take any backup over here. So your task is to release some space. Check for the du minus css star. Check what are the spaces for each one. So this one is occupying 49 MB. This is 74. These are all the smaller ones. These are all incremental backups. Okay, these are all incremental backups. These are all incremental backups. This one, sorry, these three are incremental backups. From the size, I can recognize them. From the size, I can recognize that these are all incremental backups. And this is again is a full backup. So we have a full backup for the last day, that is for the 10th of July. So all these previous backups we can delete it. Let us delete all the previous backup. Okay, so let me delete this one, then this one, and this one. So I'm deleting 4 backups from here. I'm just keeping the last successful backup, this one. I'm keeping the last successful backup and deleting the previous backups. Okay, so I have to give rm minus r because these are directories. It will give an error otherwise. Rm minus r. Okay, now can you check du minus css3? So now the total size of this directory is 86 GB. Earlier it was 200 GB. So now I have freed up space, df minus h. Can you see backup? I freed up space in the system. Now the banner, the feature backup will run successfully. Okay, is it clear with everyone?
Yes.
I think the rest of them, I think this will be related to our PFCG and SV01. We'll be taking it later. SPAD is your this is for SM59 is for RFC connection. SCOT is for SCOT connection. If we have made a SCOT connection, you can monitor not from a SCOT, but you can monitor it from SOSP. You can run it from SOSP whether all the outgoing mails have been delivering properly or not. So here there are no data over here, but in case in your case, if you schedule outgoing mails, you'll find all the details over here. Okay, for example, if I change it from the send date refresh, yeah, I find some older data over here. You can see the error message over here. What is the error message? You can identify recipient this is delivery attempted. So this is not an error message. This is the information. So it means the delivery was attempted for this mail. So it's just a information. So there is no error in it. Okay, 59 for RFC connection. SPAD is for analysis. I think it is for, no, it is for school administration. Okay, leave that. Okay, so any doubts, any queries till now? Yes. Yes, everyone.
No.
Okay, so I think for this today's session, we'll conclude it till now. We will take one more session next week. That is for the user authorization. Because I think today we have taken a lot of theory, and I don't think that you will be in a fresh mind to take up more theory. So let it put it up on the next week. So we'll have a session next week for the user authorization. Plus, if you have any doubts and queries, just make a list of it. Whatever is your doubts and queries, make a list of it, and just at the next session when you complete the user authorization, I will take up your doubts and queries, whatever you have. Is it good?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that is enough for today. So yes, goodbye everyone. See you next week.
Goodbye, Muzaffar.
Bye,
Goodbye.
Mustafa.
Bye,
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 everyone.
Mustafa. Thank you.
Bye
Bye, everyone.
everyone. Thank you. Yeah.